Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the penultimate race here in the Apex E-Series Showdown. We are down to the last race in the round of 8, getting ready to send 4 to the championship round at Phoenix next week and to claim a champion. Glad to have y'all here tonight on the Speed Racing Network. I'm Eddie Smith, and we're glad to be here with some racing this week. Had some time off thanks to Labor Day, and ready to get back into the action. As always, I want to thank Apex Sim Racing Custom Gear for all their support. Take a look over at Jimmy over at apexsimracing.com. See what he's got going on. He's got some really awesome stuff. Go check it out. But tonight, it's all about the drivers who are going to be taking their shot at the Final Four. Now, we'll look at the playoff bracket real quick. You already see there's 2 drivers that are already locked in. Tracy Passons, Garet with their wins the last 2 weeks have moved on to the round of 4, and they will be racing for a championship next week. So tonight, just hanging out, having a good time. Now, for the rest of them, Chris Bedwell, Kip Easley, Alan Nash, Charles Stevens Jr., Daniel Holcroft, and Dana Shepard, they're still alive, and that's all that you can ask for in this series to have a shot at taking home this championship. Let's take a look at the points. You can see the green locked in, the red, they are out, and the white, that's who is still fighting. Charles Stevens leads that little group right there, so he's got a slim margin as the gap is only 3 points back to Chris Bedwell, who's got that final playoff spot. And you see Alan Nash there, three points back. Dana Shepard just a few points back as well. Daniel Holcroft all within a shot of each other. Kip Easley going to need a win tonight, but I can tell you we've got a low driver count as always in the playoffs, and I think that getting a win tonight is not out of the question for any of these drivers. So we're looking forward to seeing if anybody can get that done. But there's your drivers. We'll be watching that through the race. It's going to be a tight battle. I still think you got to win. I think if I think you want to get out there and get that win. But let's go ahead and let's look at the track info for tonight. Homestead Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida, and opened in 1995. The capacity of 46,000 people that can file into this place, and it's just a fantastic 1.5 miler of being able to rip the wall, work the bottom, work the middle, all the lines work, and that is what makes this track so much fun in real life and also in iRacing. But let's go ahead and I want to talk to some drivers. The first one I want to talk to is Chris Bedwell. I want to get him up into the booth and talk to him about this race. Bedwell, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Well, man, how you doing tonight? How you feeling?
They're a little nervous. I don't have very good speed. I didn't get a good chance to do a long run. I came in late. I haven't really studied anybody else's long run time, so I don't know. We're just winging it.
Well, hey, sometimes that's the best. You over practice. Sometimes it can make you race a little worse. So maybe the right thing to do. You're sitting third on the current standings. If anybody doesn't jump over you, Ray Rogers on the track right now. But how you feeling about tonight? Other than that, do you think that you can get up there and get this win? Do you think a win is gonna be what needs to happen for you to get in the championship? You're currently sitting there 3 points back from Charles Stevens in third, and then you've got a slight margin to fifth place, excuse me. How you feeling? What's your plan of attack? Are you going for the win, or are you going to try to points race?
I don't know. We'll play it by the seat of our pants, but I think we're going to points race a little bit. We've got, I think there's only a couple points between myself and Charles, and then I don't know. Oh, here it is. So I've got Nash. So Nash just put it on pole. So yeah, I think it's going to take a top 3 and some stage points to make it through. Nash looks dangerous, so that could be, he might win, and then it'll just be between myself and Charles. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, this race can always run green the whole way after the stage, and it become a long run race. And I normally do pretty well in long run races where it's about rhythm and tire saving. So, I'm sure Ray Rogers is going to come up through the field like he always does and whoop us all on tire strategy anyway. But I think if I can finish top 3, I think we'll be all right. But I have beat Ray here before in another league, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, there you have it. Chris Bedwell feeling pretty good tonight. Didn't have that much practice, but still feels like he's going to be strong. Let's talk to our third place in the points, and that is Charles Stevens Jr. Charles, this Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Eddie.
Well, tonight you're sitting pretty in third place in the points, but there's nothing guaranteed. Tonight you're going to have to fight for it. You're only 3 points out of fourth place and just a few points. So it can still, even with only 15 drivers in the field, it can still go really wrong. Tell me about what your plan is tonight, what you plan to do to attack this track and try to make sure you make that Final Four for Phoenix.
Well, came into it with the mindset, I'm just going to go out there and have fun, Eddie. And I think as long as I got that mindset, the cards are going to play in my favor, and it's going to pit me through to that Final Four.
There you go. Well, what's your plan as far as lines tonight? You're going to be running low. You're going to be running up against the wall. What, right in the middle maybe? What is your plan for attacking this really, really fun track?
I think I'm going to go where the other people are not. So if everyone's going down to the bottom, I think might run to the top and try to make some passes early. But I think diamonding down to the bottom is going to definitely save tires than running that top side the whole time. So I guess I'm just going to play it by ear and just go where the other people are not.
All right. Well, good luck to you tonight, Charles.
Awesome, Eddie. I appreciate it, man.
All right. Well, there you have it. Charles Stevens, he sounds confident, that's for sure. And we are ready to jump into the grid. Everybody's starting to get gridded up at the moment. We'll give them a few minutes to get on track. And we'll go ahead and jump into the grid. Now, we have to give out, obviously, a bunch of awards tonight, but always starting at the very top. That's going to be the Chuck Pegleg Pole Award, and that is going to go to Alan Nash. Alan Nash on the pole tonight. Let's go through the grid real quick. And the grid brought to you by Low Cash Motorsports. On the pole, your Chuck Pegleg Pole Award winner is Alan Nash, who is sitting there fifth in the points and needs a good race. This is a good way to start it out, starting on the pole. Ray Rogers, a 3 or 4 time winner at this point, I'm not even sure. But he is starting outside the front row, going to be a player all race long. Look for him. I think he's probably a good pick for the race. Starting in row number 2 is Garet Kinder. He's already locked in the round of 4, but he's going to be battling, trying to keep certain folks out that he doesn't want to battle. Chris Bedwell, we talked to him. He starts outside row number 2. Row number 3, Charles Stevens Jr. and Kip Easley, both playoff drivers. Charles Stevens in, Kip Easley going to need a win to get in, and he starts in 6th position. Starting in 7th is Dana Shepard. He is also a playoff driver along with Daniel Holcroft. They can point their way in, but sure would be a lot easier if you just get that dub. So he's looking to do that. Tracy Passons going to start 9th. He's already locked in. He's going to have just a chill race. Alan Smith rounds out your top 10. Starting in 11th is Matt Rogers, and Chuck Phelps going to start in the 12th position. Starting in 13th is Mike Presley, and Josh Lokovitz in 14th. And rounding out the field, Tony Edgerton in that number 77 Chevy Silverado. Well, all right. Well, that's your Low Cash Motorsports starting grid, and let's bring up the VSR in race analysis. NASCAR Craftsman truck, stage break on lap 30, so those stage points are going to matter. Top 5 is what you're trying to do if you're in the playoffs. You want to get those stage points, 120 laps total, 75% fuel, and 4 total sets. Going to have to be careful about when and where you use those set of tires. Well, all right, pace truck going to bring the field around. We're getting ready to take the green flag and get this penultimate race underway and see who's going to be our championship 4. Pace truck pulling off. Alan Nash gonna lead you down to the green flag. Barney's got the flag in hand, and green flag is out. 120 laps here in Homestead, and they are getting really good pushes right through the first little bit. Garet Kinder pushing that bottom line on the outside. You've got Chris Bedwell in that 95 pushing Ray Rogers, and Bedwell not playing around at all. He moves Ray Rogers out of the way and is going to take over that 3rd position, so already getting with it early. Alan Nash able to hold that lead so far, but as they come off of turn 4, the runs are coming, and Bedwell already up into the 2nd position. He is on the move quickly. He knows how important it is that he's going to have to get that win. He's feeling fast, though, but you see a couple drivers that you need to be thinking about paying attention to. Ray Rogers already falling back to 5th position, but I don't think that really surprises me at all. He is just so good at saving tires. Even in a time that I don't think saving tires is actually a thing anymore, he can still do it. So just a contradictory statement by me. It doesn't make any sense, but we watched this battle, though, as Garet Kendrick coming off the track low, but you see Charles Stevens in that 88 machine push off the corner here on lap 2. That's a little bit early for that to be happening. Have to be careful if you're in that 88 VSRN painted truck, as he's starting to lose a couple spots, and every spot that he loses points that he loses to Chris Bedwell and others. And if we have a surprise winner, somebody like Kip Easley who's going under him right now gets that win, Charles Stevens could find himself outside of that final 4. So there are no breaks tonight, especially these first 30 laps for the stage. You're going to see him get wide again. Oh, he's going to have to be careful. Wow, he gets really close to the wall, as Charles Stevens just trying to hang on to it at the moment. That top side does not seem to be rolling like it probably will later on. The bottom a little bit faster at the moment. I think after about 15 or 20 laps, we'll see them migrate up towards the top. So we'll see how that plays out. Usually that's the way it goes. To get down to the bottom, you see Charles Stevens jump right down to the bottom, but you see him really pushing off the corner here. It's dangerous. That wall comes up quick, especially off of turn 4. But so far, everybody kind of getting single filed out as Tracy Passons takes a dive to the inside of Charles Stevens. But Stevens there closing the door. Up front, though, it is Alan Nash with the lead. But right now, Ray Rogers all over the back bumper of Bedwell. He's going to go down to the inside. And we'll see if Bedwell fights him off here. And not able to do it. Ray Rogers, after just a few laps, falling all the way back to 5th, finds his way back up to 2nd. And now he sets his sights on the leader, Alan Nash. Now, Alan seems to have come ready to go. He's obviously, he's very, very fast. I think I'm a little surprised that he hasn't had more wins this season, because I know just how good he is racing with him in different leagues. I've just seen so much speed out of him. But this season has just been kind of a quiet season. So if I've got a dark horse, which is nobody in the top 8 I would consider a dark horse, but I gotta say, I don't think there's too many people talking about Allen. And if Allen gets in the final 4, he is 100% a threat to get into to win that championship. I don't think you can sleep on him. As we'll look at his driver cam, looks like he's pretty calm. Got to be feeling pretty good about it being out front, but he's gonna have Ray Rogers and Chris Bedwell running him down pretty soon. As you see, Ray Rogers just within about 3/10 back from Alan Nash, but looks calm, looks like he is in the zone. That's what you got to be tonight. He knows that while he would like to be, he would like to point himself in, it's likely you're going to have to win. Now, right now, with the point standings as they were, we'll take a look at it real quick. It's not a live point standings, but you can see there, Alan Nash just 3 points out of 4th place, right behind Chris Bedwell. Dana Shepard 4 points back from that, so he's going to need a lot of help along with Daniel Holcroft. And like we said at the beginning, Kip Easley going to need a win. So right now, the battle for the lead starting to pick up as, Daniel Holcroft was driving slowly. He is down on the apron. Something happened to the 2 truck. I'm not real sure what happened to him. And he's coming down pit road. That's a playoff driver in that number 2 machine coming down pit road. We'll see if we can find out what happened. And I think we got it here on the picture-in-picture here. We'll look at it as we go back up to the lead as the battle's starting to eat up there. But look right here. You see Tracy Passons gets really loose, and Holcroft trying to avoid him, gets into the wall, then gets back down into Tracy. And he's got big damage. We'll go back just one more time. We'll go on board with him as we watch. Is on board with Daniel Holcroft, a playoff driver here early before lap 10. You see Tracy going to get loose and lock him up. And Daniel just struggling to get caught up. Kind of gets on the brakes, slides a little bit. And now he is a lap down after that. So he's going to need, he's actually sitting on pit road. He's electing to not use his fast repair. I'm not real sure why, but yeah, not a great start. He's going to go down 2 laps. So Daniel Holcroft already in big trouble. Playoff driver is going to have big problems early. Kevin Kinder, Ginger Parent, Rich Ratchet Miller in chat. Glad to have y'all tonight. I know I normally don't communicate with chat much anymore, but wanted to give y'all a shout out. Watching this battle though between Alan Nash, Ray Rogers. Alan Nash, he's going to have a big fight on his hands. Ray Rogers is relentless, and we've seen him all season long. If you're new to this series, Ray Rogers is just an unbelievable talent. He's just incredible race. He's got incredible speed, but his racecraft is off the charts. He knows how to get it done, take what he can get, and not take any more. And he's just he's one of the best at it. So Alan Nash is going to have to hold this fella off for a long time. I don't think that it's going to get easier for him. What we've seen throughout the season is Ray Rogers kind of plays with his food a little bit. Instead of going up there trying to pass him, he just tries to force somebody into a mistake, get up on your back bumper, and just wait for you to make a mistake, and then he takes advantage of it. We saw that with Garet Kinder a few weeks ago, or 2 or 3 weeks ago, actually, and able to get by in there late. Ray Rogers had a run of about 3 or 4 wins in a row. It was just a really impressive run. Didn't make the minimum required races, so he would probably be racing for a championship next week, but just didn't make enough races. But it looks like Ray Rogers content with riding right behind Alan Nash. If you feel like you can keep up with the leader, there's no rush to go up there and pass and bring in Chris Bedwell, who's right behind this group. So, you know, like I said, Ray Rogers, very high racing IQ. He knows how to get it done. Go back here to somebody we need to pay attention to, Kip Easley. Looking for him to make some big swings tonight. Some really big. We got a little bit loose right there. But looking to see him make some big moves, maybe some strategy calls to get himself some track position. He's in the top 5 right now, but with his point situation, he has to get a win. There's no way he's going to point himself into the Final Four, so that's got to be on his mind. If we come down to a late race caution, you know, the ability to maybe take 2 tires or something like that, I could imagine that he is going to be right there making those calls. So, but right now, settling in, he started in 6th, settling in the top 5, and he's about 3 seconds back from your leader, Alan Nash. But right up front of him, though, Garet Kinder up to the back bumper of Bedwell, as you see that lap truck of Daniel Holcroft, who's now 4 laps down. Just a disappointing start to this race, as we see Garet Kinder, his 13 machine, Kinder Farm and Ranch. He's had an incredible season. Right now, he is battling with Chris Bedwell. Kinder is in, Bedwell is not. So I think, you know, Bedwell, the last 2 or 3 seasons, has been a threat to the championship and has been a championship contender. So if you're Garet Kinder, I got to imagine that you'd want to try to keep him out if possible. So you want to race him as hard as you can. You don't want to you know, put yourself in a bad position and take him out or anything, but you definitely want to race him hard and make him earn it. And what I'm noticing is, I'm just noticing here, look at the counter steer that the 13's having to put into this truck. They are very loose. Now, a lot of times when we run Homestead, it's at night. But right now, it's during the day, and that's really changing up the handling of these trucks, I believe. We'll look at the weather. Now, the track's only 93 degrees. But it is still pretty warm compared to, you know, some 80-degree track temps that we see, sometimes 75 at night. So that's going to make these things a little bit looser, arguably more fun, but you're seeing some guys really have to work the truck, and you see the 13 going to go all the way up to the wall as he is ready to maybe start hitting that Larson line pretty quick. 18 laps in the book. Up front, it is still Alan Nash. Clean air showing to be extremely important, as Ray Rogers not really able to get much closer than 3/10. As that dirty air, you start dumping it on the front of the truck. As the run keeps going, that right front gets hotter. Makes it very difficult to get a run off the corner. As you see the lap truck of Daniel Holcroft trying to get one of his lap backs naturally. I mean, if we get a string of cautions, he's definitely still in it. Anthony Edgerton, who is the last truck on the lead lap, he's about 13 seconds back, and we're doing 34-second laps. So Daniel's in a good spot here. If he can unlap himself here and get out in front and then get a quick caution, he can make up a couple laps really quick. But it's still going to be a really, really long road for that number 2 machine. Just hate that for him. I mean, just such a fun guy to talk to. He's always gives good interviews. He's a fun guy to watch race. But would hate to see him end his playoff run this early. Speaking of another playoff driver, Dana Shepard has dropped 4 spots from where he started. Dana just having sort of a Cinderella season. Just some great finishes, some great racing out of him. A big fan base for Dana Shepard. I mean, he's basically the Chase Elliott of this series, as he's got the most fans for sure, always coming in cheering him on. So right now he is going to need some help, falling off the pace. Truck not driving like he would want it to, and he is outside the top 10 currently. Got some side-by-side racing here. We got Tracy Passons alongside Alan Smith, and Alan Smith got a nice little truck here. Let's see if we can look at this. A little trigger time indoor shooting range number 3 machine, and we'll try to get the side of it if we can. Got him a little Wrangler number 3 throwback as he gets really loose off of that corner. Tracy going to be able to hold him off, and here comes Chuck Feltz on to the outside of that 3 machine. They got a nice little 3-way battle here for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now, when the sun's out, you got the guns out, and that's exactly what Chuck's got going on right here, as he's really working that steering wheel, trying to get around this 3 truck. He's been running that high line, but you see him jump down to the bottom. He is in that dirty air, so be interested to see. You can see the 3. Now, these guys really are kind of out of control and loose. They do not look comfortable, and that's some of the best racing you'll see is when guys aren't comfortable. But see Chuck going into turn 1, he's using that middle lane, trying to get as much grip as he can, get a run off the corner, staying above that seam where the 3 is coming off right on the bottom, which at night I feel like is the best line. But here, with how much they're slipping and sliding around, that bottom line can be a little scary. But great racing going on back here for 7th. This is, it's funny. You think about short track and they're banging doors, fenders, and running each other, going to the inside and all this kind of stuff. But at mile and a half, this is the racing, trying to break through aero bubbles, just making small incremental improvements every lap to get position. You see Chuck get really loose there as he tried to gas it up to get a good run. As we get about 25 laps, it's time to start thinking about pit stops soon. I know they can probably go to about lap, probably around 40 or so, I would imagine. Don't know exactly, but I would imagine in the next 10, 15 laps, we're going to see somebody come down pit road and take advantage of the tires. Now, right now, the fall off not too much, as we started in the mid 33s, and right now we're running upper 34s if you're the leaders, and some 35s. So the fall off is about 1.5 seconds currently at lap 25. Oh my goodness! And the 3 gets extremely loose, and that's going to allow Chuck to get down to the inside. That may be what he needed, as that 3 truck was nasty loose. He's going to get into the wall. Al Smith going to get into the wall off of that corner, and he's going to lose another spot. Josh Lokovitz going to take over the 9th position. So Alan Smith dropping. It made up a ton of spots here early because he started 10th, but now he's right back to where he started. So maybe push a little bit too hard. That truck seems like it's really loose. We'll watch his steering wheel off the corner. He's trying to search around, but you can see the back end just a little uneasy off the turns. It's so hard when it's like that because you're trying to just give it that little extra little bit of gas, and when you do that, if you just give too much, you find yourself spinning around. So it's a razor's edge for sure. He's definitely towing that line as he almost makes contact with Chuck Phelps. Now Chuck now getting to the back bumper, and Tracy Passons. Chuck, one of your biggest movers of the race, and the 79 right behind him, another big mover, Josh Lokovitz. As Tracy gonna just pull right over and let Chuck go, I think. Well, it looked like he was gonna let him go, and then he's driving hard through the corner, so maybe just a difference of line. See Alan Smith now coming back on the inside of Josh Lokovitz. And man, we can look at this battle. We got battle. 4-car battle for Truck, I guess, here on lap 30. And man, they're going to go 3 wide here. Chuck did not get a good entry there. That's going to open the door. The 3's going to go down the inside. Can't even make it hold. They come off the corner and caution's out. And that is your stage. So Alan Nash going to get the stage 1 win here on lap 30. As we were watching that battle coming to the line, an awesome 3-way battle, but Alan Nash is going to be your stage winner. I was watching that battle and completely missed the fact that we were having a stage, but that's going to be huge for Alan Nash. Everybody else, Chris Bedwell, Charles Stevens, also able to get those stage points, finishing 4th and 5th. That's going to be big for them. They're already in, and now they get to extend that lead just ever so slightly. But Alan Nash going to be your winner as the pace truck going to pick him up here. But a big deal for Alan Nash, getting the max points that he can get. He's leading laps. He's getting stage points. And that's going to probably ease him pretty darn close to where Chris Bedwell is in the point standings, and Alan Nash may actually be able to jump over him because of that stage 1 win. So, but it's time for pit road as they pull off, come down pit road. Alan Nash is going to lead. It's definitely going to be 4 tires and fuel. I think a 2-tire stop here would be a death sentence. I think that's something, a Hail Mary you want to save towards the end of the race. Alan Nash, Ray Rogers, Chris Bedwell, Garrett Kendrick, Charles Stevens, Kip Easley, the 53 of Tracy Passons, Chuck Phelps, Alan Smith, Josh Lukovich, your top 10. Dana Shepard, Mike Presley, Matt Rogers, Anthony Edgerton, and Daniel Holcroft, your top 15. Sit here and watch who is going to win the battle off pit road. Is going to be a big deal. Getting out front, getting that clean air, that's going to matter a lot. And you see Alan Nash, the left side's coming up before anybody else. He's going to easily win the battle off of pit road. And there's a battle for second. It looks like Chris Bedwell actually beat the 51 off pit road. No, looks like they gave it to Ray Rogers as they all come screaming off of pit road. I'll tell you what, let's talk to your stage 1 winner and talk to him about this, how his run is going real quick. Alan, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Eddie, how's it going, man?
Well, pretty good, man. Congratulations on that stage win. You're just a few points out of the top 4, and those stage points going to make a huge difference tonight. So you're already starting out really well, leading all pretty much that whole little bit once you took the lead there. And your goal tonight is what?
Get in the top 4. Of course, I've got Ray and a bunch of good drivers behind me. A win would be nice, but I just need to get enough points to get in that top 4, and then anything can happen next week.
Well, there's no better way to get enough points to get in is to win the race. And right now, you've shown to be the fastest truck on the track. And I know you mentioned Ray Rogers. There's plenty of fast guys, and I know you're going to be humble. But you got to be feeling pretty good about your chances to get the win. If you get the win, you don't have to worry about it. How's that truck feeling out there as far as the top and bottom line? How do you feel about moving around the track? What is it feeling like? We've seen some guys be really loose. Are you dealing with that same issue? What's your truck feeling like?
I'll tell you, Eddie, up here in clean air, it's the best it's felt all week when I've been practicing. I don't know if we just hit the right temperature, this 94-degree track temp, but mine's not loose at all, hugging that bottom. And I usually liked about halfway through a run to go up to the top side, at least 1 and 2, but I never felt the need to this time. But I've got that in my hip pocket if I need to. That top line and 1 and 2s can be really fast. So We'll see. The truck feels fantastic, but I'm not used to leading, so maybe that's a new feeling.
Well, congratulations on that stage win, and good luck the rest of the race. I'm gonna get out of here so y'all can go back green, and good luck to you tonight.
Hey, thanks, Eddie.
Michael Nash, your stage 1 winner, as he dominates that first stage. Ray Rogers all over the back bumper, but just couldn't get it done. So, what are we thinking about? What I've seen so far is your playoff drivers are the playoff drivers for a reason, as Alan Nash, Chris Bedwell, Garet Kinder, Charles Stevens, Kip Easley, Tracy Passons, those guys all up inside the top 10. We've got some guys who need to figure something out, find some of that extra little bit. Daniel Holcroft is now 3 laps down, able to get one of those laps back, but going to need a lot more help. Dana Shepard back in 12th position. Love to maybe pull some strategy out towards the end of this thing, try to get himself some track position, get up front, and maybe get this win. So, but there's so many things that can happen. We've seen races just go crazy. There's a lot that can happen here. But if you're Alan Nash, you got to get out front, control the race like you have been, and just try to get the win. Points are going to be close, and I hate to deal with points, and I hate to rely on that. So I think if you're Alan Nash, I think you got to go out there and fight for this thing, and he's definitely going to have to fight. All right, pace truck pulling off of the track. We're going to have a restart here on lap 34, and Alan Nash going to get a massive restart, going to bring Chris Bedwell with him. We saw Chris Bedwell have a lot of strength in the first 4 or 5 laps as he was able to drive right up to the front before. We'll see if he's able to do that now as he gets right to the back bumper of Alan Nash. Going to have a run here. Is he going to be able to take it, or is he going to ride behind Alan Nash? It's a weird decision. He's going to drive in deep on the outside of the 27, and they're side by side here in turn 3. Bedwell not waiting around. He's going to do sort of a crossover and go to the inside of the 27 truck. And so now the 27 is going to have to see about this top line is any good. And it looks like 27 actually lets off for that entry, and Bedwell likely going to clear him off of turn 2. So just like that, Bedwell takes over the lead, but Alan Nash not done. He ain't messing around. Goes right back down to the inside, and Garet Kinder loving this as you see these guys battle as hard as they are, and because both these drivers right on the cusp of that final 4. You see Alan Nash tried the crossover, had the run once Bedwell was on the inside, and Alan tried to make it happen, but not quite able to do it. Ooh, Bedwell actually slips up there. He's really, oh my goodness, he was chasing the truck up the track all of turn 1 and 2, and that opened the door for Alan Nash. And look at Garet Kinder. He's joining the fight. Garet Kinder, your current points leader. Winner last week at Talladega was not broadcasted, but or 2 weeks ago, but was able to take the win at Talladega. Now he would like to get up here and get another win. Alan Nash going to slowly eke out the 95 and slide up in front of him. You see the Garet Kinder get extremely loose there off of turn 2, trying to get that position on the 95 and try to take advantage of him getting past there. Well, nobody's playing around, because look here, Charles Stevens and Kip Easley are going to join the fight. They would love to see those guys continue to battle side by side. Second place all race. Ray Rogers dropping back after about a lap or so. And you see Charles Stevens, one of the only drivers up at the top, trying to make that work, but you kind of see it just doesn't have the advantage at the bottom, especially early, because you're really able to wrap the bottom and almost be full throttle here. So the top, not quite there just yet. But, oh, Charles gets it really loose as he gets some air taken off the rear bumper of that 88 machine by Kip Easley. And oh my goodness, Charles Stevens almost had a big problem there. Goodness gracious, that was very, very close. We'll look at this on the picture down here on the bottom right of your screen, right in front, watching the replay. As Charles Stevens, you see Kip gets right to that right rear bumper, and man, 88 almost loses it. Kip almost loses it trying to avoid him. But great job by everybody. But Charles Stevens, after that slide, he is falling back quickly, getting passed by Ray Rogers and now Tracy Passons. Just how quickly it can go wrong at these momentum-based tracks where you have to keep the speed up the whole time. You make one little mistake, and it takes almost a lap to get it back going. Going to get back to the back bumper, and Tracy actually push him down into turn 3. But glad to see those guys could hold on to it and not go spinning. Up front, though, we've got the battle continuing to roll on. Bedwell was kind of sitting in 3rd and 4th that whole run. We saw him really fast early. Is it going to be a repeat of this on this run? But right now, I mean, he's all over the back bumper of Alan Nash. But I think Alan is going to fight hard. I mean, we've already seen that. Bedwell was able to get out to the lead, but I just wonder if the balance of his truck was just a little bit surprising. He wasn't ready for that as he got loose and chased the truck all the way up the track. But he's got a big run here. He's all over the back bumper of this 27 truck. See the run that it gets, just not that much. I think they would have bigger runs if they were running the top and really rolling the top. But running off the bottom, you're not generating as big of a run as normal here at Homestead, especially during the night. So you can see he's able to hang on to Alan Nash, but we're really seeing the dirty air have a big effect of this 95 truck. He's trying what he can, just can't get the run. He's going to get a nice run here, I think, down the back straightaway. You see how close he is, almost inside of that 27. Cover your kids' eyes. Good grief. Trying to be rated PG here, but Bedwell is trying everything he can to get around Alan Nash. He knows that there's going to be a certain point that it's going to be even more difficult as the right front starts to wear out. And he's going to have even more difficulty getting around the 27. So he wants to get out and get that clean air as soon as possible, because I think that's what Alan Nash was a great beneficiary of that last run, was just being out front. He talked about it. We saw drivers, great drivers like Garet Kinder struggling with loose trucks, and Alan Nash was like, mine wasn't loose at all. So just how important that clean air is. Bedwell doing all he can to get that 95 machine up front and get him a win and lock himself in. We don't have live points, so I'm not real sure what will happen. Here we go. We got a battle. Bedwell going to look down to the inside. He's got the run off the corner. The 27 comes off a little wide. That opened the door for the 95 machine. He's going to go down to the inside. We'll see if the 27 can keep that momentum going and get back around him. He's going to have the run down the straightaway, I believe, but Bedwell may have cleared him. Yeah, he does. I don't think Alan Nash can have anything for this corner, so Bedwell takes over the top spot here on lap 47. Alan Nash does not want to see that. He's got the points that he needs early on. And right now, Charles Stevens all the way back in the 7th position, and he is currently getting passed by Chuck Feltz. So, you know, with Charles having some trouble, that may be all that they need, those two up front. Well, all right. Well, I tell you what. Didn't want to bless us on the track tonight, but wants to bless us in the booth. Aaron Adcock is in the house, and we're going to bring him up into the booth. Aaron, this is Eddie. You got me?
I got you.
All right. Well, man, we are in this race. Got a big battle. So much stuff that can happen. And right now we're watching as Chris Bedwell leads with Alan Nash right behind him. And, man, how you doing tonight?
All doing pretty good. Had a little local carnival that was in town, and my little girl wanted to go to it, so we had a little family night.
Well, hey, you can't beat that. That sounds pretty awesome. But there's a lot going on in this race, man. Talk a little bit about this season, what you felt like has been a success this season, and what do you think about the Final Four? Who you got making the Final Four? You know your teammates, Garet, Kinder, Tracy, Passons going to be in there. But, third and fourth is kind of wide open at the moment. Oh, my goodness, Charles Stevens again almost loses it off the corner. Right now, Aaron, Charles Stevens actually struggling really bad while his competitors in points running 1-2. But who do you think is going to make it in that Final Four?
Man, I don't know. You just look at the top 8 drivers right now, and it could be any of them. Of course, Garet, Kinder, and Tracy Passons are already locked into next week's race. But you got Charles Stevens, Kip Easley, Daniel Holdcroft, and of course, Alan Nash and Chris Bedwell up there running 1 and 2 right now. And, it's just one of those things that any of those drivers, any given Tuesday, if Kip hadn't have missed one race, I feel like we'd be talking about him, pointing his way in. He's unfortunately in a must-win situation, but, you never know. It's a tough place to show up week in and week out and try to battle for a win and a playoff spot, especially when it gets down to the top 4.
Yeah, we're seeing a great battle here. Alan on board with Alan Smith as he's looking at oh my goodness, Chuck gets really loose off the corner. That opens the door, and Lokovit's going to be able to drive on towards Charles Stevens. But now Chuck, after that slide, going to have to defend from this 3 truck is looking to the inside.
That's the beautiful thing about Homestead. It makes you think you can get back to the throttle a whole lot faster than what you can, and especially when you got somebody you can hear their engine coming up beside you, and they're putting pressure on you, and the first thing you want to do is just gas up. And I think that's kind of what happened there with Chuck a little bit. He had the 79 that already took advantage of made a pass, and then had the 3 coming, and the last thing you want to do is start losing a bunch of spots, and I'm guilty of it, and I think that's kind of what happened, was just a little bit of anxious acceleration that it'll get you every time at this track.
Yeah, well, it seems like, because I think we're used to running Homestead at night. It seems like the day race has really kind of made it interesting. I think the night races are awesome. They look cool, but they really hurt the racing sometimes. It becomes, just a grip fest and track position being the most important. But we've seen guys just really get loose and opened up a lot of a lot of passing opportunities for these drivers because of just how it's how the trucks are driving it.
And it doesn't look to the people at home watching, and it doesn't look like they're really do anything that critical when the back end of the truck wants to step out. But you get a little heat built up in that right rear, and man, it just it'll make your truck act funny for a good 2 to 3 laps until you cool it back down. If you abuse that, then you'll do it every lap, especially at this track.
Yeah, saw a big slide from Kip Easley there, trying to make a pass on Garet Kinder and almost loses it. Just exactly what you were talking about as he was trying to make that happen. We'll look at it here on the picture-in-picture. You see him get down to the inside. He's like, ooh, I'm going to get 3rd place, and he starts to slide off the corner and really has to put a lot of wheel into it to keep it off that 13 machine. So Kip Easley feeling the pressure, trying to move up through the field. But, man, these guys are just struggling with the handling. And, and just like real life, we love it. But right now, if you look back there, I don't know if you can see it, but that 51 truck, it's like Jaws, butt up. But
I'd say if I was a playoff driver right now, I'd be so excited that the 51 was not capable of coming up here and stealing this thing and locking himself into Phoenix, because I can tell you, you want to talk about a spoiler, next week at Phoenix, that 51 truck, he has been known to run the table at that racetrack. So it's going to be an exciting race next week, even with him not being in the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, went on a 3 or 4 win streak there in the middle of the season, was just really impressive. It's not really impressive for him. It's known. It doesn't surprise me. But still, though, winning 3 and 4 in a row, even for some of the best drivers, is so difficult, especially here in Apex. So it was really, really impressive, especially in the heart of the season where everybody's giving it their all.
Well, and even last week or 2 weeks ago at Talladega, Ray was right there in the mix. I know just from racing with him in the past and being on teams with him that, him and super speedways don't really get along. And not because he can't do it, not because he doesn't know what he's doing, but his luck is he's kind of like Kyle Larson, to be honest with you. He just has the worst luck at a super speedway. And he actually pushed Kinder to the win last week. So it was kind of nice to see him get a nice race in that ran clean, and he was able to get a good finish out of it.
Yeah, well, he's stalking the 13 at the moment. Garet Kinder doesn't mind at all. He's fine with that. He is locked into the playoffs, so no pressure for the 13, along with Tracy Passons, which I feel like Tracy's kind of taking the night off. He's been letting people go. What the heck is that?
I think he's just here so he don't get fined.
Yeah, he didn't go to Alaska this time, so
yeah.
He didn't get his win in the playoff and go to Alaska. But, man, we might have a battle for the lead starting to brew right now as Alan Nash is starting to put pressure on this 95, and this is a position that Alan Nash hadn't been in yet, is passing somebody here late in the race, or in a run, excuse me, and he's to the inside. He's got the inside position. Can he hold it? Now, at Homestead, 1 and 2, very, very difficult on the bottom as the tires start to wear. 3 and 4, a little bit easier. Let's see if he can get it done. He's got a nice run here.
Well, and, that all goes back to that throttle discipline, running the bottom. If you're going to run the bottom, you have to have that discipline, and it looks like Alan has put in the time and the effort this week, and, he's figured out what he needs to do to make his truck do what it needs to do in this certain situation.
Well, pass for the lead. Alan Nash up to the point yet again. He had the stage 1 win, dominated that first stage, and now was able to kind of break that dirty air bubble, which I'm surprised that he was able to do. I think that shows how strong he is right now. Bedwell has kind of shown early that he can be really, really fast, but then starts to struggle as the run goes on, and we're seeing that to continue to be the case. But just a great drive. Here he comes down pit road. So we got pit. Oh, my goodness, he's going to hit the barrels.
Oh,
95
no.
of Chris Bedwell smashes into the barrels, and he might not make it to pit road. He's going to have to tow. Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable.
I was just getting to say that, in the past of racing around Bedwell, usually when he's battling for the lead like that, if something, if he does see that his truck is not as fast, he will, sometimes let you by, kind of like a bait and switch deal, where he'll give you the lead. It makes you feel real good, and then all of a sudden he's on pit road, and then he's got a 7-second lead when you come around.
Let's go look at this replay real quick if we can, Aaron, and see what happened as he was trying to get on pit road. Kinder Farm Ranch Wreckage rewind. And he coming down pit road, just not able, that banking got him, and man, clobbered the right front. You see his front bumper just go off, and Garet Kinder had a heck of a viewpoint coming down pit road with on board with him as he had to avoid that 95 machine as they come down pit road.
Yeah, this is a very tricky pit road to get onto.
Look at this. Oh my goodness, and look how close the 13 was getting onto pit road, because Bedwell was completely blocking the track.
I don't know if he would have made it without an unsafe pit entry anyways. It looked like he might have missed the commitment cone as well.
Yeah, pretty close. Bedwell able to get that fast repair, and he's back out on the track. So, I mean, not the worst thing that could happen is he was able to get that going, but he is going to be at least a lap down on the field.
Well, we know Kinder's not drinking and driving tonight, because that was close. I know if he wasn't already locked in, that would have been a very nerve-wracking incident right there. Yeah, you just, man, when it gets down to crunch time and people start talking about top 4.
Lost you there, Aaron. Hopefully you're still there, but yeah, just crazy, the mistakes that happened. I mean, Bedwell there running second was leading majority of that run there, and then just a pit road mistake. We've seen it in real life. Denny Hamlin out front just had a dominant car at Darlington, and a loose wheel ends his race. So just these small mistakes make a huge difference. And right now, I mean, Charles Stevens is smiling ear to ear as he is now able to breathe a little bit as Bedwell now a lap behind the field. 2 laps down as Ray Rogers still out on the track. He's got the whole field a lap down as Garet Kinder is coming around to unlap himself as Ray comes down to make his final stop. But now the lead is between Garet Kinder and Alan Nash, and Nash obviously would love to get that lead back as soon as possible. And now, but with Bedwell out, with having that damage and being a lap down, he's going to need a caution. But he's, that kind of gives some new life to someone like Kip Easley back here in what will be most likely 3rd place as Ray went a little bit long, as here comes Alan Nash to take over what will be the lead as they come around here.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't race tonight. I'm sitting there talking to myself. My computer restarted on me.
Well, Alan Nash takes over the lead as now Garet Kinder going to fight back on the bottom. The 27 truck right up against the wall at the highest part of that progressive banking, and Kip Easley loving this. He's like, yeah, guys, keep on doing this because I need to get up there and get this win as he's trying to hunt these guys down. Ray Rogers is going to be about, after staying out a little bit longer, about 5 laps. Ray Rogers now 6 seconds behind your leaders. That's how big a difference tires are making here tonight.
Yeah, and Ray's so smart that, his ability to save tires is unreal, especially at a track like this. And that 6 seconds, it looks pretty big right now, but if you're not careful, he gets a caution to fall just the right way, and when these guys make green flag pit stops one more time, it could definitely be something that falls right into his playbook.
Yeah, watching this battle, Alan Nash though just seemingly has the truck to beat tonight. I mean, he even outran Ray Rogers, and now we don't know. I think even Alan Nash admittedly would say Ray Rogers is probably the best driver in the field, and I don't really think anybody could argue against that. So we don't know how much Ray Rogers was attempting to get around Alan Nash, and Ray really one of those guys that has no problem admitting, hey, I'm not going to insert myself into any kind of something that doesn't involve me, like a championship hunt or something. He's just here for fun, have a good time, but he's smart enough to make sure he doesn't change any outcomes of the races. So doing a good job. But Alan Nash though just seems to have, if Ray is not the fastest, Alan Nash definitely is. He's got the truck to beat. He's been able to go up there and make passes on people. Other people, we've seen him try to get to the back bumper, lose the nose, and get loose off the corner. But Alan Nash able to do something that those just haven't been able to do. So I think Alan Nash has definitely put in the time and work this week.
He has, and with Poman Motorsports having the 2 drivers locked into the top 4 that were left in our championship hunt, the 27 truck actually got prepared at Poman Motorsports this week, as well as the 88 truck as well, with those being the last 2 playoff trucks for Low Cash Motorsports. And so we prepped them this week in the home shop, and looks like it was a good management decision.
Yeah, Alan Nash kind of been dominating here after getting that stage 1 win, and Charles Stevens, we've just seen him just on the struggle bus at times. But look here, the new life breathed into the 88 BSRN truck as Chris Bedwell is now, still a lap down on the field. That could all change with a caution, but we've seen this race seemingly kind of trending towards a green flag all the way to the finish. So I don't know if cautions will come, but you just never know. But right now, Charles Stevens kind of feeling like he's got some new boots as he's up here in the 4th position.
And if I was his crew chief, I'd be sitting there talking to him right now, letting him know, like, you still got to hit your marks, you still got to do everything perfect. Just because Bedwell had trouble, you also got to make sure that you hit your lines where you need to, stay out of the wall, don't get too excited on the throttle. You still have to be disciplined. Bedwell's only 1 lap down. Like you said, it doesn't take but 1 caution, and Bedwell's the lucky dog. And he's got a fresh set of tires, and then he's going to start working his way to the front. And the playoff points battle was so close that you gotta keep that mindset of, I need to finish. If I was Charlie, I would want to say, I need to finish right here.
Yeah.
And try not to go back anymore. not try to push to try to catch Kip or Kinder or Alan. Just run my race right here, as Ray Rogers goes around and right there. But that you can't worry about that. That's just tire saving at expert level.
We've already seen him already, almost in some big trouble trying to push the truck a little bit too hard, in the middle of a run. So just needs to be calm and maintain what you got. I mean, I would rather go from 4th to 5th than try to battle hard and end up, back in 14th where Bedwell is. So,
and I'm saying this from experience because I've been coming off of turn 4 before, and the Harney has got the checker flag in his hand, and next thing you know, I'm sideways at Iowa, and I got my spotter in my ear asking me what was I thinking. I didn't have but 150 more feet, and I had the win, and then next thing you know, I'm turning around backwards and watching everybody drive by. So if I was Charlie's crew chief, I would just be giving him words of encouragement and telling him, look, run your race, hit your marks, do what you're supposed to do. The rest will play itself out.
Let's take a look at the point standings before the race. These are not live points, but before the race, just to highlight how close it is. Alan Nash with the stage 1 win, going to give him a good amount of points to maybe jump over where Bedwell, had him by 3 points. So Alan Nash doing everything right tonight. And you see Charles Stevens had a nice little buffer there, and he's doing a good job of just maintaining. Bedwell, we've already seen him have that trouble. That's going to put him behind the 8 ball. He's going to need some help. And Daniel Holcroft in the same boat. I mean, and now that's like the worst thing that could happen for Holcroft, because he was kind of banking on that caution, multiple cautions maybe to get him back on lead lap. But with Bedwell being a lap down, that means he needs even more cautions. So it's going to be tough for both those drivers to get back in this thing. It's definitely not over. We got a lot of laps left, but Dana Shepard. Those drivers, I mean, they're going to have to dig down deep and find something if they're going to make it in the Final Four. Dana currently running in the 11th position, and he's about 14 seconds off of Alan Nash, your leader. So, but not out. As long as you're on lead lap, you have the ability to do something about it and take a little chance. You get a late race caution, maybe take a little 2-tire strategy, do something. There's always, that's why we love oval racing. There's just so many things that can happen. So while Dana, in a road course race will probably be out of this thing, here at Homestead in the trucks, you're never out of it until you see the checker flag.
And I'll be honest with you, depending on how many laps were left, if it did come down to something like that, I think personally, I want the freshest rubber I can have. And, if I can, typically 2-tire stops will kind of tighten the truck up a little bit. If you don't load it full of fuel, if you load it full of fuel, sometimes it can make it a little looser. But I don't know. I'm a 4-tire man unless I'm on a short track, a track like Homestead where 4 fresh tires, you can get down to the bottom and run the line that Kip and Alan are running. You can really dig, coming off the corner. And if I'm going to Vegas and putting all my money in one slot machine, I'm gonna make a 4-tire stop and try to go win this thing if we do have to get a late race caution.
But watching this battle for second place is Kip Easley. You can see, man, look at him working that wheel. Them hands going back and forth, the tape all over the place as he's trying to get around the 13 truck. And, man, we can't sleep on Kip. I mean, he's been up front. He's been in the fight all race long and been able to, at the end of these runs, have some speed to try to run down some other drivers. And currently he's only 1.7 seconds back of Alan Nash. And Kip is the only driver in the field that has to have a win. He is the only one who can't point himself in. So he knew, he doesn't have to worry about points racing. He can just pin the ears back and go. He's got the Patrick Mahomes jersey on, so he's got the winner mentality. And he's doing a good job. I mean, it's not surprising that Kip is fast, but it's impressive to see how much he's got here at the end of these runs, as he's still trying to go down to the inside of Garet Kinder and make this pass. It's showing to be pretty difficult, but he's got the speed to do it, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. That top line, it's fast, but it's also got its risk versus reward. That You know, 3 and 4's got a bump in the middle of 3 and 4 that if you're on throttle or have the wrong amount of throttle, it's gonna make you push and hit right into the wall. 1 and 2 is a little more safer, but you know, Kip's doing what's worked for him all night, and that's running that low to midline, and he's getting a good drive off the corner there, not really bogging the truck down and not really scrubbing a whole lot of speed. That top side is just, if you get that top side hooked up, it's tough to make those passes. You just kind of got to hope that, you know, the guy running up top has a little bit of issues, makes a little bit of mistake, and then
well,
you're
yeah,
able to
I mean,
capitalize.
you're seeing Garet Kinder really play defense almost for Alan Nash, as you know, Kip has tried to get around him, but the 13 working that top side, and Kip just not able. If you get to the inside, you're just not able to use the whole track to get off the corner, and that's where you try to step on that throttle just a little bit to help it turn, and you get extremely loose. So Kip has got a lot of work to do here. Maybe try to use this lap truck as a pick here. That might be a good idea. I don't see anything wrong with that. We'll see if he's able to try to make that happen. As Garet Kinder gets really loose there, but so does Kip a little bit, not able to take advantage of that. So Kip falls back in line as they go around Anthony Edgerton, which is Bedwell's worst nightmare, because now a caution doesn't help Bedwell get back on the lead lap. So Chris Bedwell, Daniel Holcroft having just an awful night. But Alan Nash still your leader here on lap 85 of 120. We're starting to click down the laps pretty quickly here under green flag conditions. Still another pit stop to go for sure. Here comes Kip Easley. Got to watch out for them barrels. So Kip Beasley, the forward, he does lock him up a little bit, trying to make sure he gets down on pit road speed. So Kip Beasley with a little strategy call there I think he might have saw Ray Rogers coming and said, I'm going to go on down pit road, as we go back on track and see that Ray Rogers is hunting down Garet Kinder here at the end of this run.
I like that call for Kip, though. What's he got to lose? You know, if it doesn't work out, you know, it just doesn't work out. But you know, he's at the point he's got to win. And to me, you know, if I was in his shoes, that's exactly what I would do as well. I would try to undercut Allen. He's been strong all night. The hope is that, you know, you can make up enough distance on your fresh tires and Allen not be able to make, you know, as much ground on you on older tires, and, you know, try to get a good jump. You know, he might catch you towards the end of the race, but, you know, if he don't, you're going to Phoenix. And if he does, then, you know, it just is what it is. But I really like that call by the 8th there.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to make up a 10th or a second. Oh, I don't know if Garet was trying to get on pit road or what, but man, he got extremely loose and was not able to get that thing straightened back out until just the very last moment. I don't know if that was an attempt to get on pit road, just couldn't get it wound up in time or what, but man, very close call as the 13 gets passed by Ray Rogers here towards the end of this run. But yeah, I think so. I mean, it's the new tires are good for a second and a half, and you know, if Alan Nash continues, I'm really surprised that I haven't seen him come down pit road just yet. So I don't know the fuel run exactly, but you know, I wouldn't want to give Kip easily the lead and me have to try to, you know, run him back down and pass him on old tires. I think if I'm the leader, I want to be on the same strategy as everybody else and make sure I can maintain that lead. So a little surprising to see Allen not come down pit road.
With the field being as stretched out as it is, you know, of course you got to worry about somebody getting on pit road and wrecking in front of the pit road entry. But yeah, I maybe, you know, maybe he's looking for 30 lap shootout. Maybe he knows exactly what his truck will do. But on the other hand, if this is his last set of tires and we do get a late race caution, then he's in the catbird seat, and then Kip might not have an extra set sitting in the pit road. So, you know, it's kind of like pick your poison, what you want to do. And I don't know, I'm excited to see the strategy play out.
Yeah, watching this battle, Josh Lukovitz now has yet to come down to make, he hasn't made his stop just yet, but he has taken over that third position. This is a great battle between Josh Lukovitz, Matt Rogers, and Alan Smith. And you see Chuck and Dana Shepard right behind them. It seems like these guys have been battling all the race long. So in the mid-pack, there's been some really good battles, and Lukovitz seems to have some speed towards the end of this run as Alan Smith coming down pit road there.
And you could tell by watching Alan get on the pit road, just that transition is so, it's so rough when you hit that strip of paint. It makes the truck, just do all kind of crazy things, and you're on the brakes at the same time and trying to turn it down. And so, it's a very difficult track to get on and off pit road as Alan Nash is making his final stop of the night.
Final stop of the night for your leader and stage 1 winner. We're going to see how this is going to play out with Kip coming down about 5 laps ago. He should have a pretty substantial lead if he's not had any issues on track getting around folks with those new tires. But Alan Nash is going to come down pit road. We'll see where he blends out. That's going to give the lead out to Dana Shepard. And boy, I tell you what, Dana Shepard would love to see a caution at this time.
Sitting here watching the ticker, I think this is going to be it's going to be a very tight battle off pit road. Kip is 17 seconds behind right now. Alan's jack just dropped and Kip's coming around, so I think he might still be okay, but he's also got to get up to speed.
He gets out in front of him. He's now 3.1 seconds ahead. As you see, Alan Nash coming off of pit road right now. So a 4-second gap, 4.5 second gap as Alan Nash still getting up to speed. So almost 5 seconds with those fresh tires. Kip Easley was able to make up over Alan Nash. And so if you're Kip Easley, this has got to be what your thought process is now, which is save my tires, save my stuff. Make sure I'm not overdriving this thing. Make sure I have plenty to defend with because they're going to have fresher tires. Alan Nash is going to be running really quick lap times here as he comes out right in front of Garet Kinder and Ray Rogers. So he's going to have to battle a little bit maybe. So if you're Kip Easley, you got to just save your stuff. Don't let the back end step out. There's so many things that can go wrong for Kip, but I think, honestly, Aaron, I think that might be the move of the race.
I think so too because, like you said, of course Alan's got the clean air right now with Garet and Ray right behind him and, a good distance between him and Kip. But, like you were saying, you can't hurt your tires. You can't go off in the corner and miss your mark. You got to hit the mark every single time, just like Kip's got to do. So, even though Alan's going to have 5-lap fresher tires, to me, his job is just as hard, if not harder than Kip's, because Alan knows he's got the fresher tires. Now he's just got to be able to get there, and getting there is one thing, and then passing him is another. If I was Kip, personally, that truck would be about 6 lanes wide when Alan does catch him. If he's able to get there, it's going to be a battle to see here for the next 25, 26 laps.
Yeah, and I think if you're Charles Stevens, you are the biggest Alan Nash fan. You're trying to tell him, go, go, go. Because if Kip Easley wins this race, that kind of throws the whole top 8 on its head. And because Kip's right at the bottom. And we've been talking about guys right around the bubble all night long. But Kip is there needing the win, and that kind of changes everything. So while Charles is feeling really, really good if Alan wins, with Chris Bedwell being back in 12th, if Kip Easley wins, he may be in trouble.
Yeah, I don't have the stats right in front of me. I'm not crunching numbers or anything, but just my common sense is telling me that, Alan got 5 bonus points for winning the stage. He got a playoff point for winning the stage. That's 6 points. He's going to get a bonus point for leading the lap. If he's got a 0x, he gets another bonus point. I think he's led the most laps. That's another bonus point. So, Alan Nash done everything he needed to do tonight, and that was come in and get max points everywhere he could, any chance he could.
Yeah.
And I think,
win or not, he's still
right.
done. He's done everything he could do to get in. He will most likely get in. But right now, with Kip Easley having to pass Mike Presley there, that was a battle for the lead. Presley has yet to come down pit road. Alan Nash has gained a ton. He is almost a 7/8 tenths faster than the leader right now, Kip Easley. So he is on his way. 2.5 seconds is the gap now between Kip and Alan. So it is closing up quickly. Is Alan going to have enough once he gets to him? He's going to have to battle here with Presley. Gets a big run here. Going to go down to the inside. Should be able to clear him without much issue. And he does. So now he's going to set his sights 2.3 seconds separate the two, and there's 22 laps to go. I think he's got enough time at this pace, but how long does this pace last? Everything has a plateau. You start off with those really fresh tires and everything's really good, and then it drops off in plateaus, and then it drops off in plateaus. Well, Kip Easley is going to get to those drop-offs quicker, and that's going to allow Alan Nash to gain a little bit, and then he's going to hit the same plateau. And then, Kip Easley is going to drop off again, and that's going to allow Alan Nash to catch up again. Eventually, they're both going to equalize. And is Alan Nash going to have time to get up there and make a move on him? But we just talked about something that, while Alan would love to win this race, he doesn't have to. At this point, he's in a great position. So I think Charles Stevens is in just a terrible spot here, where he's just watching his championship hopes kind of die off here with Kip Easley with a fantastic strategy call, because Alan Nash can just ride right on his bumper, and if he finishes second, Alan Nash is in the Final Four. So I think if you're Charles Stevens, you're probably getting on the voice chat saying, Alan, I'd make sure I win this race, man. You just never, I'd be in there saying, Alan, I don't know about the points, man. I'm not sure how the points are. I'd probably get up there and just pass him. So I think there's probably a little coaching going on from Charles, because he's got to have Alan Nash win, not Kip Easley.
You're right, and that would definitely be the dagger to Charles Stevens' season. Charles has he stayed in the top 5 in points all season long, and I think even in regular season he's still in the top 5 points, not counting playoff points and stuff like that. But Charles Stevens doesn't have that win yet, so that doesn't mean anything, because we saw last season Garet Kinder went into Phoenix and had not had a win and took the championship home. So it's one of those things that I agree with you. Alan Nash is got Charles Stevens rooting for him bigger than anybody right now. So
well, it looks like it's going to come to fruition as Alan Nash is under a second to Kip Easley as he's getting to the back bumper of Daniel Holcroft, and is going to go around him, kind of catches him at a bad spot, going to have to lift a little bit. That's not what you want. That's a little bit of maybe some teammate action. I don't know if Kip Easley and Holcroft are on the same team, but I mean, Holcroft didn't do anything wrong there. It was just a bad space for Alan it's going to slow him up just enough. But right now, Alan Nash is a good bit faster, about 0.3 a lap faster than Kip Easley, and is now under a second. So it's just a matter of time now and how this dirty air is going to affect it. So we'll see what Kip's able to do to try to defend it if he can.
If I was Kip, I'd be throwing that spoiler on the front end of Alan's truck as much as I could. It just looks like that 5 lap tires is going to be a big difference. But Alan's got the black and yellow theme going there, and it kind of reminds me of old Coach Prime. We coming, and he is to the bumper of the 8 truck right now.
Yeah, here we go. We got a battle for the lead and also a spot in the championship forward. Man, Kip Easley is loose there, and you can see he gets loose off the corner, and Alan Nash is going to be able to get that spot.
See, if I'm Easley right here, if I've practiced the top, I want to try to run the top, get the run off, and just do all you can. At that point he couldn't pull down in front of him, but those fresh tires are just too strong on this track. So.
Yep. Alan Nash takes over his spot he's been in all race, and that's right up front. Kip Easley, I got to say, man, what a great call. What a great effort. It's not over. A caution could change everything, but, I mean, still an incredible attempt to and almost pulled it off to undercut the best driver in the field tonight. And, just 15 laps short of it working out. Now he's got Bedwell going around the outside, going to unlap himself. He's going to put Bedwell 1 lap down, but Mike Presley is the first truck a lap down as long as he's not involved. Bedwell still not able to get back on the lead lap. So, but doing it the hard way, that's still impressive. The only drivers a lap down now are Mike Presley, Chris Bedwell, both 1 lap down. Anthony Ederson, 3 laps down. Daniel Holcroft, after that initial issue, is 4 laps down.
And a lot of people at home might be thinking, well, why Kip had 5 lap older tires than Alan. Why did he not wait a little bit longer? Well, the big gap that he got by coming down 5 laps early wouldn't have been there if he would have tried to come down 2 laps before Allen. Now, granted, their tires would have been, pretty equal, but, if Allen is stronger on fresh tires, a little bit stronger than Kip on fresh tires, then they're still not going to be an advantage there. Kip was, swinging for the fence, and I thought he almost, hit it out of the park. But, I mean, you can't blame the guy for trying. I mean, that's the call I would have made. But, yeah, it's just fun to watch them battle it out, and it was clean, respectful, and Kip's tires are starting to wear out a little bit more, and you can tell that 5 laps that track is just eating them up.
Yeah, well, coming down early like that, you give so many opportunities for Alan Nash to have problems passing other drivers. Him getting on and off pit road, maybe seeing Kip go around him, trying to speed off pit road, touch the grass, and go spinning. I mean, when you get an undercut like that, you give yourself an opportunity for something to go wrong for Alan Nash. He's got to make up the ground and then come up there and pass you. So I think it was a really good call. So much could have happened there for Alan, but Allen able to withstand that, and now he's got a 2.1 second lead with he's coming to take 10 to go here. But yeah, I mean, this is incredible. I mean, because we don't really know how the points are going to end up. I mean, with Charles Stevens, he did get a playoff point, but it hasn't really. I don't know if he's gotten a 2X or anything, but we'll see if that helps. I'm not real sure, but Charles, I think he's in a good spot. If Alan Nash wins with Bedwell, he's only been able to make up 1 spot since his run-in with the barrels. So Charles Stevens, there's really not much else he could do at this point. I think he's at the mercy. He's got Alan Nash up front. That's what he needed to do. So now he's sort of at the mercy of math.
Yeah, Charles Stevens, just from what I'm looking at, he's got a nice little buffer that he should be okay if the race were to end right now, just like it is. But yeah, when you're sitting behind the steering wheel, math don't work good, and all you're thinking is, I got to finish as high as I can, and hope that we don't have a caution or anything like that. Because if a caution comes out, this race is going to get wild on old tires. I'm just telling you, like, anything can happen. So, I know if they're all out of tires, this is going to be one point that they're not going to want to see a caution.
Yeah, watching is Garet Kinder able to get down on the inside of Kip. Kip just struggling on those tires. He's falling back now. He's got 1.7 seconds back to Ray Rodgers, and then he'll have over 8 seconds back to Charles Stevens for 5th. So Ray probably most likely will catch up to him and probably get around him, as Ray's got these 5-lap fresher tires as well. And Kip just seems to be struggling at the moment. He drove really hard to try to get that win. And we'll see if Ray can catch up. Everybody else sort of spread out through the field. The storylines tonight, though, is Bedwell. Man, just hitting those barrels, that's such a tough way of going out, running second, trying to undercut. And he talked about not practicing, and and I'm not going to indict him on the broadcast, but he talked about not practicing that much, kind of showing up late. Trying to have his head be free, and he said he was nervous. He's trying to get the nerves out, and that kind of stuff will get you. Those nerves and stuff will get you, especially if you haven't practiced. You don't have that muscle memory coming down pit road, and he just misjudged it, and unfortunately hits the barrels, not able to get to that fast spray, had to tow real quick, and just his race is over. He's fought valiantly to try to get back into this thing, but he's just going to come up short as we're getting down to about 5 laps to go. Daniel Holcroft, another one of those drivers who had the opportunity to even point his way in, but would need a win most likely, and just had that issue before even lap 10. So that's a tough way of going out. But I got to say, and I've said it all season, when we get to the top 8 in Apex, that is a tough round. And if you go out in the top 8, I don't think that is something to hold your head about. To have your head hanging low. You got to be proud of a top 8, because it could just go so many different ways with the amount of drivers that we have here in Apex. So while these guys most likely will not move on to the next round. I wanted to highlight just how good of a season that they've had, and just bad luck tonight has changed it. Dana Shepard, another one of those drivers, just a fantastic, solid season out of Dana. And they still have another race to try to get a win at Phoenix, but Dana just hasn't had the speed tonight. Started in the 7th position, currently running in 9th, but just hasn't found the speed to get up through the field. But honestly, a fantastic season for Dana Shepard. It's been awesome to watch. So, getting around towards the end of this race, Alan Nash with the lead. He's got a 3.2, 3.3 now, second lead over Garet Kinder, as right now Kip Easley maintains that 3rd spot. Ray Rogers not able to run him down, which is a little surprising to me. So I don't know what's going on with Ray, but Kip doing a great job of holding on to that 3rd place position. 4 laps ago, though, Alan Nash, we talk about guys, Bedwell not showing up practice prepared, but it really shows that Alan Nash showed up with a plan, and he has executed that plan. He has been the most prepared. He's known when and where to run. He's made all the right calls as far as pit road calls. Just an impressive run out of him. I mean, I think, he is a, not insulting to say this, I don't think, but sort of a Ray Rogers Jr. in a way, because he has really good racecraft. He knows how to manage a race. And tonight it's showing his preparation and how bad he wants it. That's something that we kind of let go to the wayside. Is these guys want to be in the Final Four? They want to be the champion, and Alan Nash doing champion's work this week and tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. It's nothing more intimidating than somebody that straps in the truck, and you got one more race, and this is the last shot you got to do it, and you say, I'm going out here. Put the time in. I'm gonna win this race. I'm going to Phoenix, and I mean somebody like that's got a little bit of momentum behind them, and somebody that'll put in the time and analyze what he's doing and what he needs to do to get better. That's somebody I don't want to race against come next week at Phoenix.
I'd be nervous. I'd be nervous if I'm Garet Kinder, Tracy Passons. I mean, you've let an ace get into the Final Four, so. We'll see how it's all going to play out, but white flag is out here for Alan Nash. He comes down the backstretch. You see, he's got a big old smile on his face. Boy, he's smiling ear to ear. Look at him. He's about to knock his headphones off.
I know what he feels like. I won this race last year to lock myself.
Here it comes to the checker flag, fist in the air, and Alan Nash is going to take home the win and advance himself into the Final Four. So congratulations, Alan Nash. What a race by him. And he is going to punch that ticket to the Final Four. He could tell he is tickled pink.
Oh yeah, that when the adrenaline finally stops pumping and he looks back at the practice time and everything that he's done this week to prepare himself for this race, he's going to be proud and he should be very excited headed into Phoenix next week. And he is a champion of a current ARCA series that him and I raced in a little bit last season, and so it's not uncommon for this man to go out there and win a championship. So Phoenix is going to be exciting.
Yeah, for sure. As he does donuts down on the front stretch, and he is going to celebrate this win. Just a dominant performance out of that 27 Winn-Dixie Ford F-150. And let's talk about some sponsors, man. We got we got a lot of sponsors to give out. We got to give out the Jammed Up Hard Luck Award. And man, I tell you, it's hard to give out this award. I don't like giving it out, but man, I got to give it to Chris Bedwell. I mean, just running second, doing everything right, come down pit road, hit the barrels, and unfortunately, that's the end of the 95's playoff run. Just a tough way to go out, but still an incredible season out of him, and so. Nothing to be too ashamed of, but I know this one will hurt for a while if I know Chris. So
well, and I tell you, it would give me all the motivation in the world, and which I know Chris will. He's he's a competitor. He'll be at Phoenix next week, and you know he's he's one of those drivers that can go out there and tell you, you know, you better be glad I'm not here because this could have been mine to take to the house, and I feel like he's a contender to go win it next week at Phoenix, even though he's not in the Final Four.
The next award we have to give out is the Kyle Roberts Handmade Leather Hard Charger, and that's going to go to Matt Rogers. Started 11th, come home in 6th place. We had a great drive by him. Josh Lokovitz also moved up 5 spots, so both of those can share that. They can each both have half a wallet. All right, well, as always, we want to talk about Apex Sim Racing. Go check out apexsimracing.com. Go get you a button box. Go get you some accessories that can really spice up your rig. If you haven't made your wife mad in a while, go on over to apexsimracing.com and buy $300-400 worth of stuff and really put it to her, man. She buys all those dresses off Amazon, all that stuff off Amazon. Go get you something. That's what I say. Go over at Apex Sim Racing. Jimmy does a great job. And they have some really, really awesome products. So, Aaron, I'm going to assume you're going to be working on the points. We're going to do some interviews. And,
I'm doing that right now.
And we'll see if we can talk to some of these drivers and see what they thought about the race. First thing we're going to do, though, is go through the results. As Alan Nash, Garet Kinder, Kip Easley rounds out to top 3. Ray Rogers is going to come home in 4. Charles Stevens, I think he did what he needed to do and came away with the top 5. Matt Rogers in 6th. Alan Smith with a great run in 7th. Dana Shepard in 8th. Josh Lokovitz in 9th. And Chuck Feltz in 10th. 11th, Tracy Passons already locked into the playoffs. 12th, Mike Presley. Chris Bedwell in 13th. Daniel Holcroft in 14th. And Anthony Edgerton going to round out your field in 15th position. Well, let's start the post-race interviews provided by Poman Motorsports. And let's go ahead and we're going to talk to 3rd place, Kip Easley, who just had an incredible race. And, just a great strategy call there at the end to try to get that lead and get the win. Just came up, oh my goodness, just a little bit short, and but I still think it was the call he had to do. Alan Nash was just really strong. So let's get him up into the booth and see what he thought about that. Kip Easley, this Eddie and Aaron in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Man, I was pulling for you there. That was exciting. You had a really awesome truck tonight. I mean, you were definitely really, really fast. Track position was hard to get a hold of, and you made a call there to come out or come down pit road a little bit earlier and try to make the undercut there, and it worked perfectly. You had a nice lead. Alan just able to run you down there at the end. Talk a little bit about your race, what your plan was, knowing you had to win. You didn't have a choice. Points were not an option. You had to get a win. What was your plan coming into the race, and did you feel like you executed it the best you could?
Well, the plan was definitely to win. I knew I didn't have an option other than winning. So I knew I was going to have to do something a little bit more aggressive with strategy than I typically wouldn't do. And so in a long run was not really my strength. After I got up to about 20 laps to 25 on the tires, I just really started struggling. I just couldn't get back into the throttle the way I needed to. The first time I came in, I think with like on lap 60 or something right around in there, I thought I would still be the first one in, and Garet came in, and I think Chris Bedwell came in, and then he had that spin there in the pit road. So I knew the next round I needed to come in just as soon as I could make it on fuel, and that's what I did. And I was hoping it was going to put me up there, and it put me in a great spot. I was definitely really happy with how it put it. But after knowing that Alan stayed out as long as he did, I knew I wasn't going to be able to hold him for any length of time. So I was happy with where it was. Needed the win. Hate to see it go. Hate that I missed that race. I think I might have been able to make it in on points. I haven't seen it, but if I had missed that race, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, just I thought we were talking about it in the booth. Just really impressed with the kind of the Hail Mary that you tried with that undercut, and I thought it worked perfectly. You came down, you gave yourself plenty of buffer. that if you can't outrun him, at least put him in a position where he kind of maybe overdrives it, has some issues, gets into the wall trying to run you down. I mean, just a great call, man. You're running in the top 5 all race, and that kind of presented itself, and you took it. And I think that that's really awesome to see a strategy like that work out. Maybe 15 laps less in the race, you'd be sitting there in the winner's circle. But I mean, still came home in 3rd place. You missed a couple races, which kind of put you behind. And we talked about it during the race. Being in the top 8 in this series is still a very good accomplishment. So won't be racing for a championship, but man, still had a great season. We appreciate y'all coming out and racing with us this season. It's been a lot of fun. And as always, man, who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Just want to appreciate my wife for putting up with me and on this. Appreciate Aaron and the league admins for heading this up. Appreciate your broadcast. It's great. Look forward to running in it again next season and ready to get it going.
Well, all right. Well, there you have it. Your 3rd place finisher tonight. Gonna miss the final 4, but man, just an incredible drive. And what an attempt to get that win. It was in a win and you're in or win or go home situation. Excuse me. Well, all right, let's talk to the 2nd place finisher, and that is Garet Kinder. We'll get him up into the booth. Garet, this Eric nerd in the this is Eddie and Aaron in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's up?
Well, you came in stress-free. I mean, you won at Talladega with a push from Ray Rogers, and you came into this race without a care in the world, just whistling a Dixie as you were able to come home in 2nd place. Alan Nash had the field covered, but you definitely look like you were having fun out there. That truck looked a little bit loose. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a little disappointing. Homestead, you're usually able to kind of pick your line, and you can run up at the wall. You can even run like a slider line. You could run high in, low off. You can do all kinds of stuff typically, but tonight, if you weren't running bottom, then you were just chewing tire left and right, and it was pretty wicked. So a little disappointed I couldn't get up there and actually make time with the wall. I got up there just for fun, see how many times I could get almost into the wall or hit the wall or get completely sideways. But yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. Going here stress-free, got the win last week. 2nd place this week. Hopefully a little bit of momentum rolling into Phoenix because I'm going to need all the help I can get.
Well, man, just a fantastic season out of you. You've got quite a few wins tonight, just kind of cruising. And so you go into Phoenix. Tell me about Phoenix. What do you feel? How do you feel about that track? What are you going to need to do to make sure you come away with a championship next week?
Man, I think I'm going to play it a lot like I did last season. About midway through the race, championship race last season, I was caught a lap down through some pit strategy that went sideways, and just kept my head down and kept digging, and ended up winning the dang thing. So, not the race, of course, but won the championship. I couldn't win a race last season, saved my life. Now I'm winning them left and right. It seems like. Yeah. So basically, just go in with the same attitude. I'm not big on practicing. I'm out here having a good time, but I might go run a couple laps, see what this update's done to the tire model, and see if they've updated the track any. Just mess around. I'm out here for fun. I'm having a good time with it. I want to win it, but man, all these guys, me, Alan, Tracy, and Charles were all either teammates or affiliate teammates. So anybody in the final 4 that wins this thing, I'm gonna be pretty tickled.
Well, there you have it. Already in the final 4, but finishes 2nd here tonight. Congratulations, Garet. As always, man, who you got to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank, of course, Kinder Farm and Ranch Ratchet Speed Shop. Already been texting me, already saying, good job, good race, all that good stuff. Big Frig and Cross 5 cattle coolers. If you want to keep your stuff hot and keep your stuff cold for cheaper and longer than anybody else, make sure you check out Big Frig and Cross 5 cattle coolers at bigfrig.com. Ray Page and Andy over at Wolfpack Racing, teammates over here at Poleman, Boss Man, you're in here. Thank you for keeping the lights on over here, keeping the team wrangled and having a good time with us. All my guys over at Velocity Motorsports Short Tracking. Got to thank Apex Sim Racing Gear. I've got one of their button boxes that I won as a championship prize last season, and man, it's pretty slick. Helps a lot with fuel saving and dialing around with your brake bias. So a lot of fun having that around. If you need some switches and stuff, go check them out. Thank y'all up in the booth. Thank everybody that watches back home. This has been just a phenomenal season. A lot of fun. Look forward to Thursday night every week. So wouldn't be able to do it without people watching. Wouldn't be able to do it, Eddie, without you in the booth and Aaron keeping the lights on over here. So appreciate everybody that makes this thing tick.
I appreciate you showing up, man. Good run tonight. was enjoying watching that spoiler tap the wall a little bit and get a little sideways, and I could just hear you giggling as you were going around the track. So good job, and good luck next week in the top 4.
Appreciate it, boss.
Well, there you have it. Your second place finisher and potential champion, Garet Kinder. But the man of the hour tonight is Alan Nash. We talked to him after stage 1, and as he crossed the line, he had a big old smile on his face. Alan, this is Eddie and Aaron in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey guys.
Well, you come away with the win, and Kip easily made you work for it a little bit with that undercut, but you felt like you had the strongest truck tonight. You had to feel pretty confident throughout the whole race, and there at the end, had to run him down, but you had the tire advantage, and then able to stretch that lead out to 3.3 seconds over Garet Kinder. Just talk a little bit about your race after that stage break, what you were trying to do. When that undercut happened, were you a little bit nervous, or did you still feel pretty confident?
At first I did kind of panic, like he was 5 seconds ahead of me. I didn't even know he had undercut that early, and I had to resist the temptation to start driving extra hard. But I knew, that first 30 lap stint before the stage break was a big confidence booster, because driving the easy line on the bottom that I'd worked on even held off Ray Rogers. So I thought, well, I got to stick with that. My tire wear has been good all race. I'm just going to stick with that. And sure enough, after a couple of laps, I started ticking off 4/10 at a time, and I knew with the newer tires I'd catch him. And so from then on, it was just hit my marks. It was so smooth. I felt like I was on rails today. Some days you get in groove, and usually that happens for me on practice the day before a race. It rarely happens on race day. So it felt good.
Your preparation definitely showed up tonight. As I think there's a lot of guys who feel like they're probably pretty good at Homestead, and I think you were just on another level. Just really impressive to come in here in a race like this, being outside of the cut line, and then being able to come and just get the win and not have to worry about points at all. Just a great job by you. So looking forward towards next week at Phoenix. Talk to me a little bit about Phoenix. What do you like about the track? What do you dislike about the track? And what do you feel like you need to work on to make sure that we're talking to you in this situation again next week as a champion?
Phoenix is a weird animal with that cutting across the infield like that. It just beats you to death. Whereas here you get this smooth rhythm going, or at Charlotte you get this smooth rhythm. That was just that track is work. And ran into Tracy Passons the other day in a practice session, and he was tearing off fast laps. So there's gonna be a lot of speed out there. I'm gonna have to get him practice this week.
Well, it's going to be a fun race, and tonight, just congratulations, man, on doing what you need to do to get in that Final Four. It's cool to see people go out and just take what they want, and that's what you did tonight. So congratulations, and as always, man, who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout-outs?
Yeah, I want to thank you, Eddie. I always enjoy your podcast. I will especially enjoy rewatching this one. I'm gonna make my wife watch this one. She thinks my video game is silly, but she's gonna watch me win. And then my little boys, they love watching the podcast on the weekend after we have these. So you do a great job. I thank Aaron for the league, such a great run league, and he's a class act, and all the great racers in here. I want to thank my man and Low Cash teammates, and I particularly want to thank Kyle Roberts. He got in here. We were farting around last night, and he opened up a hosted session, and we ran this whole bunch of laps of this track last night, and I credit him for this win, for getting me where I was on a groove today. And of course, I want to thank all Apex Sim Racing for sponsoring the league, and Kinder Farm and Ranch for those great upside down Holstein cow record rewinds, which you didn't have any of today, and all the other sponsors that make this possible.
Well, there you have it. That is your winner here tonight. Moves on to the next round. Congratulations, Alan. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Eddie.
Well, all right. Well, let's talk to. We had one of our playoff Final Four kind of dipped out on us, and we talked to Garet Kinder already, and Alan Nash is another one. But we're going to talk to the other driver in the Final Four, and that's going to be Charles Stevens. Charles, congratulations, man. You did what you needed to do tonight, come away with a 5th place finish, and didn't have maybe the run you hoped to get up there and get a win, but did everything you needed to do and pointed your way in. So first off, congratulations on making the Final Four, and tell me about tonight. What were you struggling with, and tell me about your race.
Yeah, I definitely struggled tonight. For some reason, it just felt like it was so slick out there, and I was just struggling keeping the truck under me. I'm sure you probably saw me get loose a couple of times. But yeah, I just kept digging away at it, and just was there at the end, and had a pretty decent finish. So.
Well, you were definitely loose out there. I mean, definitely tell me what I mean, everybody seemed to have kind of be a little bit loose there. What was the issue you were seeing? I mean, were you able to try to save the right rear, or was it just impossible?
I couldn't. I think a lot of it I was going into to the bottom too shallow. And I was having to pit too much wheel in it off the corner. To keep it off the wall. So I started changing that up a little bit and driving in a little deeper and diamonding down to the bottom, and that definitely improved my tires. But yeah, just the rest of the guys up at the front, man, they was just in a field of their own tonight, and like I said, I'll take a 5th place finish over the competition that we have in this league all day long.
Yeah, able to keep it clean, did what you have to do. Had some close calls, but nothing was just a race ender. So love the VSRN paint scheme. Appreciate the support, man, and congratulations on making the Final Four. Talk to me about Phoenix. How do you feel about that track? What do you need to work on? And what are your thoughts going into the championship race?
I definitely struggle there, but I think we might need to put a Po-Man low cash practice up something, and we're gonna give you guys one hell of a show there next week.
Well, there you have it. Oh, sorry.
You're good. This week, yours and Alan's truck was both put together in the Po-Man shop, so I don't know what we're gonna do this week.
I know we're gonna be separate shops this week, right?
No, it's a great camaraderie between the two teams, and I had to remain biased all night, but I'm definitely proud of both teams for being able to put 2 drivers each into the top 4. So congratulations, and good luck next week at Phoenix.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Aaron.
Well, there you have it. Charles, did we give you an opportunity to thank your sponsors and friends and family?
No, but like I said, I basically said it. I just want to thank, like I said, Aaron for running this league. This is one of the leagues I look forward to running every week in and week out, and everyone with on Po-Man and Low Cash, everyone's a big help to improve my driving and everything else. And then, like I said, you up in the booth, and my friends and family for coming in and watching me race.
There you have it. Charles Stevens, Final Four driver. Tracy, he had to dip out really, really quickly, so we didn't get to talk to him, but we'll talk to him next week pre-race and see what he thinks about it. But, man, what an incredible race. A lot to talk about, a lot of drama that happened, and, we finally got the Final Four. And we'll take a look at that here on the track graphic or the bracket graphic. As you see, there it is, your Final Four. Tracy Passons, Garet Kinder, Alan Nash, and Charles Stevens will fight for the championship next week as we bring this season of Apex to a close. That was your Po-Man Motorsports post-race interviews, and it's going to be the Po-Man Motorsports basically Final Four next week. So, but a great race, fantastic season so far. Looking to put a feather in it. I don't even know if that's a saying. I don't know. Put a little bow tie on it. I don't know. Put something on it. We're gonna put something on it next week, Aaron.
It's been a long season. We started this back in February, I think, and just with holidays and everything like that, just trying to bounce around schedule, give people time with family and stuff. It makes for a long season when you run 20 races, but we try to keep it as authentic as we can. We race the same schedule as NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. So all the races that we've been doing, it's their exact schedule. The time of day and everything is set up to exactly what they're going to run on race day. So Looking forward to finishing off the season. It's definitely one of those things that once you get down to the final race, it's everybody's tired. It's been a grind. Everybody's tried to make their way to the final four, and we got 4 drivers that worked hard. Some of them come on towards the end of the season. Some of them have been right there all season long and just been nipping at it and can't wait to get to this next point. So looking forward to getting it, I guess, topped off in Phoenix and take a little break, and then we're going to be back with a little recruitment series. So if there's any drivers out there that are looking for a place to race, you see what we got to offer, you see the type of drivers we got. We're going to do a little 12-week fun run recruitment series and try to bring in some more drivers for season 5 of Apex Sim Racing E-Series Showdown. So reach out to Eddie or myself, or he'll get you in touch with me, whatever, through V-Speed. But yeah, we look forward to one coming to an end, but we also look forward to the next one coming about next season. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, that is a good place to wrap it up, and we're going to call it a night here at Homestead. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank y'all for the support. Definitely check out V-Speed, V-Speed 2, and VSRN. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe on those channels. We definitely appreciate it. It helps cross promotion, helps us. We're not making any money off of YouTube, but it definitely helps get our name out there. Also, it helps get your league out there into some new eyeballs, helps with recruitment, all that type of stuff. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already done that. Well, thank y'all for watching. Thank all of the drivers that showed up tonight and had a great race. Thank you, Aaron, for jumping up in the booth. It was a lot of fun, and we will see y'all next week as we get ready to crown a champion. But we'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good night.